Chris over the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. I even said that Bailey would knock Chelsea Green or Nacho Green out and that Phillip Brooks would interfere. Call me Geese Howard, but I feel these PLEs are becoming too predictable. Anyway, what happened at Clash of the Castle was immensely overshadowed by what happened on Raw afterwards. I mean, it seemed like a typical show. Seth frickin' Rollins returned and got a rematch at Money in the Bank. The Alpha Academy finally imploded. Uso reproved why he's called main event. You know, the usual. Then at the end, the lights went out. The bright door opened. And after a large amount of blood and unseen chaos, out came the Wyatt Sicks. For the first time since his death last August, the Fireflies were out in force to see the creatures from the Firefly Funhouse become human and wreaked the kind of havoc not seen on Raw since the NESS first arrived. The cheers could not have been louder if they pumped it through the speakers like the boos when Dominic Mysterio is trying to talk. And it seemed like the WWE was making a turning point towards permanent TV PG ratings in their approach to moving to Netflix at year's end. Blood all over the place, men like Braun Strowman and Chad Gable looking a battered mess, and everyone looking like rejects from Universal Studios' Hollywood Horror Nights. But the internet has sussed out who the men and woman behind the masks really are, so let's see how they've been doing before they try to reanimate the terror of the Fiend. Start with Uncle Howdy himself, the man controlling the Fiend in his last incarnation before Wyatt's passing. He, as we all know, is portrayed by Wyatt's brother, Taylor, who is better known as Bo Dallas. In 2014, he was promoted from NXT and introduced his Bo Leave catchphrase. 2 years later, he joined other near jobbers as a social outcast, then joined Curtis Axel as the B Team. He was released in 2021, but didn't go anywhere. When Wyatt returned after an 18-month absence, Bo came back as Uncle Howdy. The plan was for Howdy to be an important part of Wyatt's life until Wyatt's death due to COVID. Now, the first member of the Six we saw coming out the door was Abby the Witch, the haunting doll in the window of the funhouse. This is Nikki Cross. Called up from NXT in 2018, this Scott gave lasses a bad name. As the almost superhero, she won Money in the Bank, and the very next day cashed it in for her first and so far only singles championship, barring the 11 times she was 24/7 champ, that is. Recently, though, while she did show up on TV, she seemed lost. During tag matches, she would leave her partner and wander off and would only be seen in the background as if she was waiting for something. Ramblin' Rabbit, the buck-toothed bastard who seemed to take the brunt of Wyatt's punishment, is played by an original Wyatt family member, Eric Rowan. After he and the late Luke Harper broke up the Bludgeon Brothers, he became the enforcer behind the new Daniel Bryan during his brief time as WWE Champion before the pandemic. After an angle where he treated a giant spider, he was released. He had brief stints in AEW as well as the Indies. He was last seen front and center when they rang the bell 10 times for the passing of Wyatt and Terry Funk. Huskus the Pig is the latest addition to the main roster, Joe Gacy. Yep. After battling through the combat zone, Gacy made it to NXT in 2021, wanting to make the NXT a safe place. Yet that angle didn't last long, as he took in the grizzled young veterans and formed the Schism, along with future NXT commish Ava Rocket Rain. When that dissolved, Gacy became a cross between Wyatt and Mick Foley, taking pain and loving it almost as much as dishing it out. Who knows if he'll continue that as Huskus, but he's certainly built like that German porker, ain't he? Then there's Mercy the Buzzard. The sadistic bird turned out to be Dexter Loomis. Yeah, you remember him, right? On-camera husband of Indy Hartwell. The guy who looks like a mute Escanor from the Seven Deadly Sins anime. The tortured artist. No? Well, you'll be excused if you don't remember him. Since his promotion from NXT to the main roster last year, he hasn't really shown his face around. Hell, for all I know, the marriage thing with Hartwell was dropped after they both got promoted. I was hoping to see how his angle would play on Raw and SmackDown, but it never happened. So, those are what the Wyatt Sicks have been up to before now. Some are on a last chance power drive in their WWE careers, others are looking to jumpstart their main roster careers, but I still have to worry about what this will do to the Wyatt's legacy. Oh sure, that this was probably going to be the new Wyatt family if not for his death, but though it started with a bang, can they really continue with that intensity? I can't help but think this might hurt Wyatt's legacy more than cement it. They need to make people believe that they are doing what Wyatt would have done were he still flesh and bone. That they are the embodiment of the Fiend's nefarious soul, and they need to keep it up. Essentially, they need to be what the Bloodline is still trying to be without Roman Reigns, and what the Judgment Day still essentially is. A faction whose matches get all A's, and whose personality could give 0 F's about what the fans think of them. I'm not saying they need to become World Tag Champs in the next month, or for Howdy to be involved in Money in the Bank and the like. The thought of any of these creatures holding gold just doesn't sit right for me just now. That might change as they hopefully will do what Wyatt couldn't in his last year alive. Actually compete. Yeah, I want Howdy and the gang to actually compete in matches, not just be spooky in the backstage area. Show these ragtag bunch of once-weres and hopefully not never will be's have the skill to be top tier. If they can't do that, perhaps it would be best to blow the lantern out for good and let Wyatt rest in peace. I'm Chris Wolvie with the Wrestling Glago. Oh, sorry. Alexa Bliss was supposed to be part of it too, but her pregnancy kept her from doing it. Maybe she and Abby can become World Tag Champs again in the future? Who knows? Okay, I'm Chris Wolvie with the Wrestling Blog, who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace, and I'll see ya!